to your girl Gigi's channel. Appreciate you for tuning in, having the patience to wait on your girl to get back to it. I've been MIA, and basically I want to tell y'all we had a tornado and it took all the power lines down. So literally at our house, because I live in the middle of nowhere, I'm a country girl, literally the big ass trees we got took all the power lines down with it, and we literally had to wait for people to come out and do the post and put the electricity back up. Like, any town within a 20-mile radius, like, had no lights, had no electricity or nothing. But basically, I'm now all caught up in everything. I watched Real Housewives of Atlanta, loving hip hop. I still gotta watch Friends and Family Hustle, so I think I'm going to start reviewing that next week. But as of right now, let's try to get into Real Housewives of Atlanta, talk about that, so we can entertain ourselves during this good old quarantine we still got going on. But don't forget to subscribe, make sure you like this video, and stay tuned to your girl, okay? And then if you haven't seen, we finally came up with a name for you guys, official title, and you guys are my Juice Box crew. I appreciate everybody, voting, taking their pick and stuff like that. So from now on, you guys are addressed as my Juice Box crew, okay? I like it, I love it, and the girl who came up with the name, I'll be getting in contact with you soon so we can talk about your giveaway that I want to give you, as a little form of appreciation, okay? But nonetheless, let's get into Real Housewives of Atlanta. Let's open up talking about Eva, because Eva finally got her house, y'all. She's trying to let everybody know I do not live above my means, okay? I got the money. So she got her nice little 5-bedroom, 3-bath house. It's really nice. It's real homey, not too much, looks real livable. And her husband are packing up with her family and stuff. Like, what I do appreciate about Eva, I feel like she's just real relatable. She got a little bit of drama and stuff with her little sperm donor, but that's like, everybody has their their things in life that they got to deal with. Eva has to deal with her little sperm donor, that's her little edge. But nonetheless, for her main family, like that home front part, like Eva, she has 3 kids. Her husband works, he's a lawyer. Like, she has her own business. She's still, successful, going out doing her thing, as her top model business and stuff like that. Like, I can appreciate that Eva's not always in the yang going on with the girls. Like, she doesn't really deal with all that riffraff, the drama. She's not super into it, and I can appreciate that. But she do have her shady moments though, because we witnessed it with when she went off on NeNe the other day. Don't get it twisted, Eva will throw it back at him, okay? But for the most part, I can appreciate that Eva is just not always like pulling the Kenya Moores, okay? But moving on, we'll talk about good old Kandi. Speaking of Kenya Moore, she went to go see her because she needs to talk to her about all the drama that's going on with Todd. Her and Todd are having some marital issues, as well as Kenya. So now they're about to have a little girlfriend powwow and stuff. And basically, Kandi filled her in and how Todd's feeling neglected. Like, Kandi doesn't all. It's basically like, oh, I'll come and see y'all when I can fit y'all into my schedule. That's how it seems to be coming off with Kandi. It's like, oh, I'll see my family when I can fit them in. And it's like, Kandi is really, not appreciating what she has at home. Even Kenya's looking at her like, girl, like, you got a man that at least want to spend time with you. Kandi, do you not realize Kenya can't even get her man to want to spend time with her? The minute she says something to him, he looks like he is disgusted with her. Like, girl, you are lucky in comparison to her. And she's like, I ain't trying to give you no advice, but bitch, look at me. Look what I'm dealing with. And, Kandi and Todd are going to go to therapy and stuff like that. And, Kandi's stressed because she feels like, I have all these people I have to take care of. It's not just my immediate family. I got friends and cousins and all type of stuff like that. And shoot, we already know one of them, Akbar, ass with her 5, 6, damn 7 kids that she got to take care of on Love and Hip Hop. I'm sure Kandi is there, facilitating the financial parts of that. So I get it. You're stressed, but Kandi, let's not quit playing like, bitch, you got the money. Like you said years ago, if I want to take care of up in here, I could. And that is what you are doing. But I think it's a bigger issue than just the money aspect of your career. I think Kandi is just addicted to the hustle. She takes any opportunity to add something to her plate, to make like the spinoff show, for instance, or like anything she can. She try to make money some way, somehow, or like adds another opportunity, which is cool. You can do that, but you also have to understand, that it, unfortunately, is a consequence to your family. You want to start do acting and stuff like that. Now you're on the shot, and unfortunately, you got a new baby on the way, and you got Ace calling you, crying, saying he misses you, and now you feel like a bad parent. And this big debate is up of, oh, well, if it was a man, wouldn't nobody be saying that? Wouldn't nobody be saying, oh, the man is doing too much, he's out there providing for his family? And I don't see it that way. I don't see it as if, oh, if it was a man that, wouldn't nothing be wrong, wouldn't nobody be calling him a bad parent. Regardless if it was man or woman out there doing all that work, you are still neglecting your family. I feel like men do the same thing. You can't be like, oh, like men who are doctors and lawyers and stuff like that and constantly are out, like, yeah, it's good that you're providing for your family, but what about the emotional and physical, about physically being there for your kids? Like, that is very important. Kids don't care about this big lifestyle, you know, and all the things that it can afford them, the money that you guys have, if it means that they're not spending no time with you. And we see that with Ace, for example. He's sitting there crying saying he want mommy. He not paying attention to the fact that he live in his multi-million-dollar home. You know, and Todd is sitting there, you know, struggling because, you know, he has his career, but he also knows when to fall back because he wants to be home with his kids and family. Now, I think Kandi should have took heed to this when she asked Riley, you know, should they have another kid? And Riley told her no. And the fact that Riley said that to you, Kandi, should have been a big red flag for you, or a big time to really pause and think like, dang, my own child is telling me like I shouldn't be having no more kids. And she's talking about that from a perspective of being your child. What it's like to be Kandi versus kid, which means I'm not going to have that much time with my mama. And now Ace is experiencing that. And now you're going to put another child through that. I think that was selfish. I really do. I think as much as we want to sit there and say, oh, women can have it all. You can work and, you know, you can have a family and have a relationship. Yeah, you might be able to have it all, but is the quality of having it all, you know, the quality time that you're going to have with your family, the quality time that you're going to be able to give into your work, like, is that really, like, if you're going to half-ass it, like, don't be putting all that stuff on your plate. Now, Kenya's talking about her things were going on with Marc. You know, she doesn't want to talk to him. He's blocked because he's been hella disrespectful. And I can at least, you know, be appreciative of the fact that Kenya ain't expecting no disrespect no more. Like, we saw how Marc was talking to her at the charity event. So I can only imagine when the cameras ain't there, how he really be talking to her. Like, I can imagine it. Like, we can tell that Marc feels like, because he's a man, he's a dude, whatever he says goes. Now Kenya, at this point, we see later in the episode, gonna be packing his shit up and sending it off to him. So let's move on and talk about Cynthia real quick, because Cynthia has her little wine, you know, seller and stuff like that. And unfortunately, looking like to me, it ain't no business coming up in that wine cellar, Cynthia. I think she shouldn't have necessarily had a storefront. I think Cynthia would have been a lot more successful had she done like, oh, you know, wine time with Cynthia Bailey, and like done like podcast style, you know, every month something, do like a little, you know, panel, you know, drink wine, talk like that. That should have been the route that she went, not this wine cellar. Like, if she wanted to keep it as a venue, cool, but I think as an actual wine store, as Mel said, look, we ain't got a lot of foot traffic, you know, stuff going on. And then Mel sitting there complaining about she need her 2 days off because, you know, labor laws and stuff, Cynthia. You can't be working, you know, this can't be no yes sir, massa type of work. And, you know, it's also a struggle working with family because, you know, family, you know, sometimes they not gonna really follow you as the boss because you my sister, you feel like you ain't gonna talk to me, you know, that type of way. So like, that's kind of hard. I don't think you should blur the lines like that. But then they get to talk about how, you know, her and Mike need to figure out where they're gonna be. You know, her and Mike, once they get married, like, they're gonna need to find a home front. Like, Cynthia, every time somebody asks her about what they're gonna do, she always keeps like scathing over it. I don't think she wants to really face the fact that you might have to move to LA, Cynthia. Like, we all can tell Mike is not moving to Atlanta. I do not think Mike would move to Atlanta. Unfortunately, he has his career, he's successful, and Cynthia has more of the ability to move around than Mike does. So, you know, even Noelle's in LA, and we find out Noelle quit her damn college and she wants to go pursue acting and stuff like that, which is cool. But Leon told her, look, you ain't gonna sit at home and be no spoiled brat and, you know, just be sucking up all the money and stuff that me and your mama making. You gonna do an internship, you gonna work, like, you gonna figure it out. Now, every time I see Leon, though, y'all, I swear Leon get better looking every time I see him. That good old chocolate man. Leon, y'all, Leon. That's all I can say is Leon. But nonetheless, you know, even with Noelle, she stays in LA, and Mike is feeling like, well, dang, if your daughter stay in LA, like, can I get my wife to stay here? Like, my future wife to stay in LA with me too? But yeah, Cynthia, you got to figure that shit out, okay? So then, moving on, we see good old Lenithia Leaks trying to have a moment with Gregg, celebrating their 20-something anniversary. She had on this black, like, see-through negligee. Here come Gregg, old self, barely making it up the stairs with his little home shoes on. And NeNe is just basically bragging about how her and Gregg got the best relationship. They've been through so much, through the sickness and health and rich and poor. They done got divorced and got back together. Like, we saw that whole little flashback and stuff like that. But, you know, she brought up having an open marriage to Gregg. He said, hell no. But then we see on lip service, Angela Lee, NeNe was talking about, Angela Yee, we saw NeNe was talking about how, oh, she found out Gregg was out there dipping his little granddaddy dick in a whole bunch of, you know, young women out there, especially women that actually worked for NeNe. Like, dang, Gregg, you couldn't wait till you went out of state or something to play around. You gonna play around in your own backyard. But, you know, she's basically explaining, like, with him being sick, you know, that drive, that, you know, sexual intimacy ain't there no more. And we sorry, but Gregg's at that age where he look like he got to pop a couple of them blue pills to even make it, you know, halfway through the day. Like, I don't think, you know, NeNe needs somebody, you know, throw that back out, obviously, and Gregg ain't doing it. He look like he do 2 pumps and, like, dust come out. Like, Gregg don't look like he can do nothing no more. And, you know, if they feel like, you know, they want to do this open marriage and they basically be like, look, we are each other's home front. We are each other's mains, you know, as far as the mental, emotional connection and, you know, being each other's, you know, safe space. Cool. Like, that's our home front. You do you outside of the streets, but just make sure you don't bring nothing back to me. You know, NeNe, you go out there. Now, you know, it's rumored that she already got her little boy toy out there. And if she do, I mean, cool, NeNe. You know, obviously Gregg can't throw that bike out like, you know, he used to. He looked like he pumped too hard. His hip socket will pop out, okay? But, you know, they was having a little, you know, moment under the bed cover. He, like, growling and stuff. NeNe trying to throw that at him. She had chicken and fruits and stuff on it. Like, it was a lot. And then they put themselves under the covers. I'm like, Gregg, your old ass ain't doing nothing, okay? NeNe need her little 20, 30-year-old, okay, to come in there and do some things for her. Throw them long legs that she got up in the air, you know, lay low, spread it wide. Yeah, but at least, you know, NeNe, you want to claim you got the best marriage, but obviously not. Everybody in that cast has marital issues. You ain't no better than nobody else, okay? You already divorced Gregg at one point. Like, come on, NeNe. But moving right along, because I can't talk about NeNe all day. That bitch get on my nerves. But moving on, we're going to talk about Kenya. Cynthia went over to Kenya's house to help her dump Marc's stuff out, basically. Kenya is struggling. You know, she thought she was going to have this marriage, but, you know, she has a child that doesn't even know her grandparents. Now, what is the relationship with Marc and his parents? Like, y'all drop down in the comments, let me know, like, does he have a relationship with them? Like, do they fight? Like, are they, you know, estranged parents? Like, what is the situation? But nonetheless, you know, Cynthia's over there trying to be supportive to her friend while she throws Marc's stuff out because, you know, he wants his stuff. He ain't going to come by and get it. But if you ask me, you know, I'm like, Cynthia, oh, he lived here, like, you know, I just can't. And basically at this point, Kenya over there like, love don't live here anymore. Do, 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 do. You abandoned me. All right, let me quit. Basically, like I said, love don't live here no more. Kenya's over there lonely, throwing Marc's stuff out. And Cynthia at this point is like, good riddance. From what you tell me, Kenya, Cynthia's like, Marc need to go. He don't need to be here no more. If he don't want to fight for it, you know, that's it. And that's what you can do. People don't understand, in a marriage, it takes two people. You can only fight when somebody wants to get in the ring with you and fight for it. Marc has been doing everything possible to push Kenya away. He's cheating on her. He back in New York all the time. He act like he don't want to come home unless it's for the baby. They did the flashback and Kenya's over there. At least we have love. And like Marc was like ignoring her. He's sitting there entertaining the baby. Like literally ignored everything Kenya said. So now Cynthia's like, F Marc, F everything about him. Let me cut these sleeves off. But did y'all see Kenya's face when Cynthia put them scissors to that shirt? Kenya about had a damn heart attack. She was like, don't cut this shirt, because she knew Marc was probably going to cuss her ass out, send a whole bunch of dirty text messages, had Cynthia cut that shirt. She looked like she panicked. I didn't like the way she reacted that way, because now that's making me feel like Marc got a little bit of abrasive or a little extra side to him. I mean, we already know about that, but it looked like it might be a little more intense than we think. So I think he might have, did one of them things to Kenya. He looked like he do one of them. But, Cynthia at least was, there for Kenya, supporting her. And that's all we can do at this point. Kenya let him go. And speaking of let him go, let's talk about Portia needing to let Dennis toad ass go. Portia has been out there kissing frogs, kissing toads, trying to turn him into Prince Charming. And unfortunately, you didn't kiss Dennis and he's still a toad at the end of the day. Now, Dennis is basically being an asshole. They're talking about, marriage and, he needs to move back home, but unfortunately it's like 2 hours to get to his work. And I can understand that, like, shit, I don't want to drive an hour to try to get somewhere. Like, that's too much work. Luckily, where I live, I'm in within a 10-15 minute radius of everything I need to go. But I can understand that part. But then it's at the end of the day, like, if you want to be with your family, you're gonna be with your family. And he's making it seem like he don't want to come and bring his stuff back home, because Portia asked him, like, are you gonna move your stuff back in? And he was like, I'm not gonna move back in because you basically made it clear that this is your house. You can throw me out whenever you want. That's what you did. And it's like, homie, now, Dennis, do you remember why Portia threw you out? Like, do we need to recall everything that you did? Cheating on her while she was pregnant and then blaming it on postpartum depression to why you went out there and stuck your dick and everything out there that was walking. Like, she did not just throw you out for no reason because it was Sunday and you spilled juice on the floor. She threw you out because you was out there being unfaithful. And this is the time, if any, the most time when your future wife is pregnant, growing your unborn child. Like, if there was any time that you should be the most faithful to somebody, you go out there and pull a Tristan Thompson. So now you want to sit there and be like, oh, we're not going to get married for people who don't even like us. Like, your friends, why am I going to pay for them? Bitch, you can pay for the wedding yourself. Like, he was definitely just trying to, I think he was just trying to throw everything at Portia to make it a hurdle for them to be together, which only makes me feel like you really don't want this, Dennis. And the minute she brought up, the minute you do something to me, like you cheated, he like laughed about it. He was like, like, are you serious, my nigga? Like, the thing about dudes who apologize for cheating, it's like the minute they feel like, oh, I apologize, they never want it brought up again. And just because you apologize don't mean the effects of what you did are not there. Those are lasting effects when you cheat on somebody. Even when somebody says they forgive you, it's always in the back of their head that the shit can happen again. And unfortunately for Dennis, it did, because even after they made up, we saw the episode, weeks ago, his ass was out at IHOP with a whole bunch of bitches at 3 a.m. Like, Dennis obviously did not learn his lesson. Portia took him back, and he knew that, so he can still go out there and do whatever he wants. But the problem is, he don't want to have to be 2 hours away from the coochie. He want to be able to drive, right to it after work. Chico. Basically, like I was saying, the point is, Portia, move on. Dennis ain't the one for you. He ugly anyways. Built like a milk dud. You can do way better than Dennis. And so she basically took the cookies, told him, you ain't getting none of these cookies and none other type of cookie, okay? Dennis needs to be let go. I don't know what you thought you was gonna do with him. Dennis is the clear dude who was insecure as a kid. He ugly. We all can tell. He got some money, and he feel like because he got some money, that's basically his way of facilitating the fact that he can pull these women because he know they're gonna get with him because he got the ducats. But yeah, after that, we see Cynthia to go talk over to Eva, basically filled her in on the stuff that was going on with Kenya. Cynthia, like, you gonna invite the girls over to your house? She said, hell no. Like, that's her safe space. What's the point of inviting them girls over just for them to pick it apart? Like, we all know Marlo was gonna go over there, probably complain about the damn pictures on the wall, just like she complained about Portia's mat being too small for her damn door. Like, Marlo loves picking stuff apart. So I'm glad Evie's like, no, this is my safe space. Only, the real friend bitch is gonna come over here, which was Cynthia. But then we get into, last but not least, talking about Candy and Todd's therapy session. So, she has a male. I think the thing about men who do therapy, they need to feel like they're talking to another man so they can relate on that aspect. But, Todd, at the end of the day, needs to get off his chest the fact that he feels like it's always work, her friends, and then us. And I understand the issue. It's like, Candy, if you have off days and you come home, why are you filling your off days up with stuff? And especially stuff that really isn't that important. Like, yeah, your friends are throwing charity events and they're doing birthday parties and they're doing whatever networking things. Like, Candy, you don't gotta network no more. Bitch, you know everybody in the book, and all you gotta do is say, hey, this is Candy Burst, and they're gonna pick up for your ass. First of all. Secondly, there's so many charities in Atlanta. They throw 2-3 charities a day in Atlanta, I'm sure. So, like, it's not something immediate, but you don't get that much time with your family, so you need to take advantage of that. And the fact that you come home and the first thing you do is fill up your free time. Like, that's an issue to me. Like, what is it about you claim you want this family and stuff, but you're really not appreciating it? And I think low-key, subconsciously, for Kandi, it's like, Todd ain't going nowhere. I'm the catch here. Where's Todd gonna go? Like, can we ask that question? Where's Todd gonna go? I think subconsciously Kandi knows that Todd, she feels like she knows Todd can't get no better, so she can treat him any type of way. But at this point, Todd is like, look, I mean, you want your family to act like it. She doesn't see the effects of my son coming in 4 o'clock in the morning crying, where's mommy at? And I would feel a type of way about that if I'm a wife and our kids are coming in 4 in the morning talking about, you know, where's daddy at? Like, you, like, those are, like, your kids are feeling the, you know, the absence of that. So obviously Candy's crying, and, you know, he's talking about, you know, sometimes I feel like we're more business partners than we are, you know, lovers and, you know, husband and wife, which we obviously see that because when they do talk, most of the time they only talk is about business. Todd is at home planning their baby shower and stuff like that. And I just really hate that Kandi is having another kid, and she's going to put another kid through this. She's going to put another child through the fact that she's always going to be working. I just do not think that was a smart decision to have another baby. And the fact that even Riley said it, like, that should say something. If Riley's telling you, Kandi, you should not have no other baby, like, you should listen to that, because she is your offspring and she dealt with being a child of Kandi Burruss. So now, you know, they're agreeing they need to work on, you know, being intimate with each other. You know, they're not having, like, sex as much. You know, they need to make time for each other besides, you know, when it comes to work. Now, Kandi feels like, well, Todd, you do it too. You go off and work and everything. We're not saying nothing about you. Granted, Todd may be working, Kandi, but at the end of the day, he still seems to be able to find time to come home to his kids, and you seem to not be able to do that. Like, why is it so hard for you to say no and be at home with your kids? Like, there's something there that we need to figure out why that's so hard for Kandi. But then I think that was the end of the episode. Kandi and Todd. But y'all tell me what you think about it. Like, do you think because Kandi's a woman, people feel like she's being a bad mother, or they're saying like, oh, she's a woman, she should be at home? Or if, you know, it had been, you know, Todd doing the same thing and he was the one out working, would we not feel the same way? Like, at least I would. At the end of the day, be a parent and be at home with your kids, you know, so they can have those memories and grow up with you being there, and not because you afford them this lifestyle. Like, kids need emotional, mental, you know, actual physical connection with their parents if you want a true, genuine relationship with them. And then also, real quick, let's talk about Kayla. You know, she feels a way about, you know, him always feeling like Kayla's getting spoiled because Kandi might give her something. And I feel like that, like, Todd, he seems to be really petty when it comes to Kayla. Like, I think because Kayla, I think sometimes checks him, and because she's older, like, you don't have that father-daughter dynamic. You only have two adult dynamic, you know? And I think Kayla sometimes, you know, checks his pride and ego. And when he feels away, he knows that, oh, I'm not gonna allow Kandi to give her nothing. But it's like, bruh, you know, don't act like y'all are sitting there spoiling Kayla, because you're not. Just because you give her one thing on her birthday doesn't mean she's going to be a spoiled brat. I think Kayla, the way Kayla looks at Riley sometimes too, is like, girl, you don't even understand what I got to do just to have, you know, an ounce of what Riley got. And, you know, Kandi's viewing it as like, why are you like making it seem like, oh, we're just spoiling Kayla? Like, what does Kayla do now? Is she still in New York? But Todd, you need to check that and feel like, you know, like I guess it's the way he's raised. Like therapist said, like, you have your idea because of how you grew up, and Kandi, you have your idea. But Todd, you don't get to live this fancy lifestyle, and Kayla not getting nothing out of it. And, you know, as long as Kayla's out there working and stuff, I don't think one thing for her birthday is going to make her a spoiled brat and make her feel like, oh, you know, she is, you know, not grateful for the things that she's doing. I think you just have, you know, that's the one thing you can hold over her, is the fact that Kandi isn't going to maybe like be there for her, you know, in financial moments. I think you hold that over her head. But nonetheless, that was the episode. Y'all tell me what you think about Kandi and Todd's therapy session. How do you feel about Kenya and Marc? Do you think, you know, Kenya's making the right decision, you know, kicking him out? And if she were to give him another chance, what y'all think about that? How do you feel about Dennis saying that, you know, Portia and him need to get a prenup? Okay. I mean, I get it, but I mean, like, dang, Dennis, like, you the one messing up here. I don't know why you sitting there trying to throw everything on Portia as if you ain't the one that fucked up, okay? But nonetheless, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, okay? And I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Deuces.